morning. My name is Ben Askren. I'm a consulting forester that the city uses to help with their tree program. And I'm here with the Mentor Tree Commission to show how to properly train young trees. This is the first step after planting that everyone should do to make sure that their tree has a central leader and that it is raised up and that any broken or rubbing branches are eliminated. So today we're going to prune approximately 36 trees down the middle median of Dawson Boulevard. First thing you do when you look at a tree is look at the top of it. And as you can see on this yellow wood, that we have two competing leaders on it. And we don't want that as a street tree. So we're going to have to help one side overtake the other by subordinating the weaker side, which in this case is the smaller side. So we look at it, where is a good place to subordinate? Rule of thumb is that you want to take the branch that's 1/3 the size of the branch you're leaving. So that branch can still take off and not die back. If you did it the other way, it'd be a heading cut. And heading cuts are exactly what topping is, and we don't top trees because topping trees dies back the tree. Let's go to tools first. Pruner, saw, pole pruner, ladder. This is probably all you'll need for these size trees. You want to make sure they're sharp so we don't have tears, and you want to use the right tool for each cut. And then we'll try to remove any inside growth, that is growing inside towards the tree, because eventually when it gets to a certain size, it'll be detrimental to the growth of the tree, start rubbing in other branches. So we can go up through here and do this sort of thing. Okay, eventually when this tree keeps growing, we will keep subordinating the right side until we have it it may take 5-6 years for this to happen, but we'll eliminate that right side altogether so we have a single stem tree. But we don't want to do it all at one time. And here's another spot that there's a inside growth. So, any questions?
Nothing. In fact, Marianne asked the question that you hit on is about, would you not take the bottom off right off the bat? And so you sort of covered that.
By eliminating the whole side, you're probably taking a little bit too much of the tree out, so it's not going to destroy the character of the tree. But you want to leave, always on these young ones, you probably want to only go to about 1/3 of the crown removal.
Okay. No, I did bring this along too as a visual aid if you want to discuss taking a larger branch off. Okay. That's in the paperwork, but say we had a full tree here and that was a heavy branch on here, what would you do?
Well, a topping would be taking the larger side. A directional prune would be taking the smaller side. But the rule of thumb is you want to have this to be 1/3 of the side that you're leaving. So that this way there will be no dieback over here, because this will be big enough to take over.
And how would you approach the cut on this?
Well,
so you get a good cut.
It's the 3 rule. By rule of thumb, again, it's a 3 rule cut. You want to make your first cut out here an undercut. You go about over half, just a little over half.
Sorry about that, but yeah, it's not quite a good tree, but we'll manage, right?
This is not how you do it, but you go to about 1/3 of your cut there, and then you come right in front of that first cut to take this limb off. That way, if you took it off here, you could tear the tree. You want the weight of the limb off, and then you come with your final cut. This is called the ridge line. As you can see here, you don't want to get into that. You don't want to leave a stub, because then insects, fungus, bacteria can come back and decay. So you want to get as close as you can so that this tree can compartmentalize. And before we do a pruning, we should have a classroom for about 4 hours to talk about biology of trees, code it, all the things that happen inside a tree. But here we are doing this on the fly. So we make our last cut. You can see this edge here. And we'll make our last cut around here. And on these saws, these professional saws, all the cutting action takes place as you pull it towards you. Nothing happens as you go. So all your cutting action comes back as you pull on it.
We should have found a neighbor's tree we could have cut.
And now you have your final cut. You're above the ridge. So reaction wood is going to start coming around the outside, the first wall of coat it, and eventually over a 2 to 3 year period we'll have what we call a donut. And it'll come around all the way around this wound here and seal it. If you got into the ridge, it wouldn't be able to do that. If you leave a stub, it's not able to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions about this tree here?
Now, okay, I do have a question. What about this branch tight in here? You still leave that for the time being, but look at that in the near future.
Right, because
what
we're working, and like I said, what the purpose of this pruning is to get single leader as much as possible, rubbing branches off broken branches. This tree is 2 years old, so we want to do as least we can to let the least harm we can do to this tree, because every time we cut, we're creating a wound. But we'll come back when the tree gets a little bit older. We'll be able to do more to it as far as shaping, and that's where the art comes in. This is more the science part of the young tree pruning, is doing correct cuts in ways that help the tree grow straight. The art is when you come up with trees that are a little bit older, 4 to 5 years, 6-year-old trees that really need a lot of work to get them back into what they're supposed to look like. So this is more the science, heavy science more than art. Okay, we can go to the next one. Rule of thumb, there's so much rules of thumb, and each one of these rules are meant to be broken. But if you want to prune trees that bloom in the fall, you prune now for those. If you want to prune trees that bloom in the spring, you prune them after they flower, after they're done flowering. So that's a rule of thumb. There's plants that rhododendrons and other things. And also, why are you pruning? Sometimes you're pruning for clearance. Sometimes you're pruning for other reasons than just the pure health of the tree or what the future, trying to make it grow correctly. So there's different reasons why we prune. So that eliminates. Otherwise, you can prune about any tree you want, except flowering trees and oaks, anytime during the year. Only reason you don't do oaks is because of the wilt disease that's coming out now, and it's mostly for red oaks. White oaks have lysos, little cells that stop up the passage of stuff. That's why they use them for whiskey barrels and stuff like that. They don't leak, where the red oaks don't have that. So that's the disease that you don't want to prune, and you want to quit your pruning before the 1st of April. And then you can resume again after the 15th of October, something like that. All right, this is a bald cypress, not native up here, native to Ohio, but not this close, this far up. It's a deciduous evergreen. It's in the same family as the redwoods. It'll get about 90 foot tall. It likes swamps, but again, as a street tree, if you got the room for it, it'll work in any environment. It's salt tolerant, pollution tolerant, wet sites, dry sites. So it's a good tree. If you get a real wet site, you might get knees coming up around it. So some people who mow their grass don't like to hit those all the time. All right, this one's got a pretty good leader on it, you see. There's not going to be a lot of subordination. Maybe eliminate that little guy on the left. And then what we can do is take some of these smaller ones up a little bit, and then we can nip inside for any of the rubbing branches. So we'll use the saw for this. Always use, I explained earlier that you don't want to use a tool on a part of the tree that's too big for your tool. You want to use the right tool. And this saw only cuts coming towards you, this specific type of saw. So those are the kinds you want to use. And we'll take this all the way up to right about here. So we'll go up to the top here. We got a leader that's pretty good. We can probably take this little guy out right here. If I can get in there to get it. We have a piece here that was cut at the nursery. They didn't get it all the way down. There we go. So we have that. That looks nice like that with that 1 leader gone. And then we have this piece here. You see it's kind of growing inside. We don't need that. Use a little dead piece that we can take off. We got a little bit of cluster here. Got this thing coming up again. You see this thing going that way. We'll take him off there. I mean, you could go on with this one, huh? So anyway, that could be some of your problems, is we don't know when to stop. But like I said, if they're your trees, you can come back every year. Me, I just don't have the time to come back and hit each one of these trees every year. So I think we've probably done enough to this tree. What do you think? Stop! Tell me to stop! Keep going!
Stop, Ben. Good. Well, then I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do with street trees also. Now, and you don't have to worry about this at home as much, but if any tree over the sidewalk, the city says 7 feet. So you go a lot of places and a street tree grows in, or you have one on your side of the sidewalk, and if they started out low and haven't been trimmed, people have to duck to get past them. Now that's an ordinance, and the expectation is that the property owners take care of their trees. Okay, so wondering when you saw he took away these here, it just already is clearing out the bottom. So we want trees that develop up and not trees that develop out. So over the street, 14 feet, Ben?
15 feet over the street, 8 over the road.
Okay, so and you see where if garbage trucks are hitting or buses are hitting, that those trees are not in accordance with code either. And so, but that's why when you're starting out, you're taking off these bottom branches after the tree is starting to get a little bit of growth. Doesn't need to support those anymore, so that'll push more growth up. Because every branch, wherever the intersection is, this will never get any higher. The tree doesn't grow from the bottom, it grows from the top. So wherever that branch is, it's always going to be in that position.
Only bigger. Okay. Yeah, that's why it's good to get them when they're little with the hand tools instead of having to come with a chainsaw and really deform it. So we look up, we have a pretty good leader, but at the top we have a couple different things going on. So it's like the situation we did a couple trees below. I guess we'd probably be better off just eliminating the top 2 out of that 3. Anyone got a favorite to save? Anyone, which one do you want to save? No one's speaking up, then I'll kill them all. I like to keep this one here. So I'm going to eliminate this guy here.
Why did you want to keep that straight?
Well, it's because it looks like it's in the best. This one here is straightest, as a matter of fact, but it's coming off at an angle, and this one seems like it's going straighter better. I guess I can take him off and make it that way. And then this one needs to come off. This needs to come off because it's in my way. And then this one comes off here. Now, sugar maples are your big producer of syrup. This is the time of year where you'll see buckets all over these trees. And it takes about 100 gallons of syrup, or of sap, to make 1 gallon of syrup. So it's a heck of a process.
You need loafers?
I need a stronger wrist. It'll go to sleep tonight. Okay. And so we're going to take this one off. All right, everyone okay with that? No, but you guys are the citizens. Okay. All right, so then we got our leader. Let's help this off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what about the nuts going right up the middle? Does that have to?
Nah, it's just a nursery thing. All right, got it. And then we'll take these little things off here. This thing here. And so the rest of it, as we come down, we got a little bit of cloggy action here. We could probably take this whole piece right here. See how it's in the middle, actually interfering this way. I mean, this is the only spot where it's not, but it's really, these two things are performing the same, you know, function or whatever that would be. So we could probably take this whole branch off here. Notice the angle when you're cutting again. Always keep an eye on how you're cutting, because it makes a big difference in recovery time. You can see the sap coming already off this. White oaks native. They're the ones that have the nut. Takes 2 years to develop their acorns. Acorns fall in the fall. They're the ones that use the barrels. They got the lycose cells that stop up stuff. Not as susceptible to the diseases as the red oaks. Trying to think of what else. They got the rounded lobe leaves. The red oaks will have little hairs on the tips, pointy leaves on each lobe, have tips. I guess that's about all I need to know. You need to know.
When will it drop its leaves when the new ones come out?
Yeah, they're semi-evergreen trees. Like the live oaks down south never drop their leaves. They're evergreen. These white oaks hold theirs a little longer than the red oaks. The beeches hold them all the time. Beeches are in the same family. The chestnuts are in the same family. Okay, so I'm gonna go up to the top and see what we need to do up there. Doesn't look like it's awful need of anything. It looks like there's good spacing all the way up it.
Yeah, we've got a couple branches that are curling up, going straight up inside there about the top of the ladder.
Now, also, the three-legged ladders are better than the four-legged ladders. They really do give you security, and you feel like you could almost do anything but that. I mean, I don't feel like I'm going to fall off here. You'll pick me up if I fall? That's good. So up here we got this guy here and this guy here as far as what we're going to keep as leaders. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this two smaller guys up here right off the bat. And now we're going to be left with these two. So I got to determine which one I like best, and I think I like this one on my side better. I think that's the one we should keep. So again, we may look like we're taking, you know, a lot out, but these are very young trees, and it's better. And oaks are a little tougher than what we were used to as far as cutting is concerned. Again, it's good to know your species, because some trees are softwoods, some are hardwoods. Hardwoods will give you arthritis later on. And so I can come down here and start working my way down, finding the branches that are growing towards each other. Gonna cause problems later on. Anything that's growing inside like that, you can get.
You certainly see how much more difficult it is to look at the trees that the leaves on versus bare trees.
So yeah, we got a lot of interesting things going on in here that we can fix while we're up here. All right, next tree is a beech, American beech. So I think I want to do, we got the leader. It's kind of a weird shaped tree, ain't it? It's not really what you consider a beech form. Looks like we got more growth coming on the secondaries than we do up the middles. So this is where art comes in, I think, a little bit of art.
And imagination.
And imagination, that's right. So we're going to have to imagine this tree back into what it looked like, what we want it to look like, which is in everyone's imagination a little different, isn't it? Well, we don't want to, I was thinking about raising it up a little bit, but I think we need to work on the top first, and then that's, depending on how much we have to take out of these outside branches, is determine if we leave those lower ones or not. Because remember, we can come back. It's not the last time this tree is going to be seen. So we got to bring down some of these bigger guys. I think I go back to this far on here. Yep. Let's see. I might even go here on this one. At least to here on this one, maybe here. This thing's all curly, curly. So I might eliminate him back here. Those are my thoughts. Anyone have any thoughts? Anyone see something that they might do? We gotta do this, don't we? Gotta get rid of that guy. Always don't leave a stub if you possibly can. These guys are fighting, huh? They're like little babies. Ah. So
you were saying what that you thought you would take this one all the way back to here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this too. And then that allows this to take over, right?
Was I gonna take this one back to here? Is that what I said?
That's what you initially pointed to. Hey.
All right, you got that guy. Well, we're just doing the best we can.
So the central leader is going to be that.
The smallest one, yes. Yes,
So,
it's actually going up through the middle.
Which one's the... I think I'll do this one down here now.
Bottom one? Okay.
Now, oaks are just a little tougher than lindens. Okay. So, not so bad. Not so bad. We got this guy's curving backwards, and we're probably going to take him here. Always make sure you got the right angles. I think we're getting beachy, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're getting beachy. All right, I'm going to take this guy here.
Growing, moving in instead of out. Right?
Yeah. I think I can do this guy and this guy. Well, if you see anything else, that's...
Well, that one that you trimmed before, there's like
Sure,
one going in, but it's probably too much to take out.
This one looks like it's coming in too, so why wouldn't you go further down on this?
Well, we have to go all the way back to here. This is your tree.
Doesn't work, it's my fault.
It's your fault. We'll blame you. Give me your name and number. We'll put it in the paper. All right. So I mean, we really had a lot of weirdness to start with this tree. Got all this little growth in here we can get out. All right, I think we're doing good. I think we're doing more good than bad. This thing here needs to come out. I wonder why it grew all weird. Was it in a box or something? So let's see here, we got to do something here. So we'll just
take the low one going down.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if that should come off because it was fighting with it.
Yeah, it's fighting. Like I said, but I think we did better than what we started with.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you
It'll be good
count
to
it,
see
you
it here at the end of the growing season, see how it looks.
So anyway, we got a leader. I think we got some of everything, all the rubbing out of it. It looks a little busy in here, a little bit still, don't it? Looks like one of these two, because they're into each other. I think I'm gonna take this one out. I think this is the one to do. Even though, now that I look, before I made that cut, we got this one coming right on top of this one. So maybe this one should come out.
Okay. Sounds good. Now it's your tree, Ben.
No, it's not. It's the city's tree. Get the right angle.
You must be doing sunlight. No neighbors have come out yet.
All right, so that's where we're going to leave it as now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The hardy rubber tree. Our replacement for the elm. Because of the Dutch elm disease, this tree has a lot of characteristics that look like elm a little bit. It's another tree from China, not used a lot. One that people, a lot, even arborists don't know. They don't identify with it very well. They look at it and go, what the heck is it? But it's a hardy rubber tree. I'm going to take this off. I can get the suckers off. So I think you'll be seeing more and more of these planted around cities because, again, another tree that's, does pretty well. And that's what you want when you plant a tree. You want it to live. It's nothing worse than having a planting and then all your trees dead. It doesn't keep your job very well if you do that. It's called a rubber tree because at the sap you can make rubber out of it. But it's not very economically feasible to do it, so they don't. So it's not used for that. It's used as a shade tree. It'll get about 40, 45 feet tall probably. So you need a medium-sized tree for it. And basically all we can do is take all that new sucker growth off all through the top. You see what that is, you can tell the difference. And other than that, it looks like we're pretty much good. Maybe one rubber here or there, rubbing branch. This is kind of like what pears do. They kind of like sucker a little bit like this. So all this stuff we'll do is rub off and cause problems later in life, so we might as well get rid of them while they're little. Which one? This one or this one? This guy?
Yeah, you got similar branches close to that.
Here's the saw. I used to have a little pocket saw. Where did I put it?
Oh, he probably left it in the snow a couple of weeks ago.
Probably. It's always nice to get the right angle on these cuts. Sometimes you have to come below to get it. And then we got this here. I don't even know if that's alive. That looks like that is, but this is not. Yeah, probably need to get him. Hardy rubber tree. Emoculus Emoides. Now at the very top, first time I looked at it, broke my rule, didn't I? See how easy it is to break your rules? All rules are made to be broken. This is why I get on ladders, it makes me look big. Oh, we got a couple of suckers here, right? We gotta get him. I don't know what I'm gonna do up there. What am I gonna do? I can't see, the sun's in my eyes, it's all terrible.
Why is that? Does it look dead up there?
Well, it's just got a clump. So this, I guess I'll have to use a combination of ladder and pole pruner.
Okay.
But I'm going to go on the other side because all I see is little black spots in my eyes right now. And I don't think I have measles or whatever disease that makes you look at spots. So you can have extensions where you don't have to get on ladders. Since I didn't bring the extension, it means I have to get on the ladder. And we'll take that one off the side there. You can see this spring here is always the thing that keeps me from wanting to use these things. Because wherever I go, it's probably going to be in the way. Not a real good cut either, see? You want to get it as, that's probably be all right. Ta-da! Oh, that's attention to detail right there. Okay.
Here you go.
All right, so what else do you think?
We missed this
You
one,
get
but I'll
this
take
guy.
that one
Yeah,
right
you
here.
raise that. This
There you
one's dead. All right. Thank you. All right. Anybody want to prune one? Just so you can feel it in your hands, see how it feels.
We believe that, you know, trees in the forest, they grow on their own. When you have urban and suburban trees, you certainly need to take care of your trees. And that leads to us starting at young trees. And if you take care of your young trees early on, they will become very nice specimens in your lawn. And that is, the goal of today is to let people know that not only street trees, but all their trees can be taken care of with a little bit of effort, a couple tools, a good pruner, hand pruner, maybe a set of loppers, a good pruning saw, and that's all you need. Resources, there's many on the internet. One that we like is arborday.org. And two of the handouts we had today were both from Arbor Day. Very simple to look at, and the standard person can understand what they're talking about. They give some nice diagrams, and they will help you to control your trees. And what you do early on with the tree will pay back much in the years to come.